to get a casino license, and they showed he didn't pay any federal income tax. So
that makes
if
me
he's
smart.
paid zero,
Pete, there you go. Between him looking like I want to kill this bitch, and smug, and being smug, he really is giving her these death looks. Between smirking about him not paying taxes, he put it out there. I'm sure everybody by now has heard about Trump and his tax records. And as what came to shock to no one, sadly, not even the people who are all up in his ass, what do you know? He's a flim-flam man. That's just my favorite word for con man, shyster, liar, hypocritical bitch. This is courtesy of the New York Times right here, where they were given the tax records, and of course, the New York Times is going to put it out there because they don't like this mother more than a lot of people out there. Long concealed records show Trump's chronic losses and years of tax avoidance. Donald J. Trump paid $750 in federal income taxes the year he won the presidency. In his first year in the White House, he paid another $750. Not $750,000, not $7,500, $750. He paid no income taxes at all in 10 of the previous 15 years. Again, you read this everywhere. There's a lot of details. Or you can just turn on any news channel where I'm sure they're going to be talking about this all day, such as ABC News.
The president denying it and repeating the claim that he cannot release his taxes because he's still under audit.
I got to say, this is off topic right here, but I just want to take the top of his forehead and just peel that orange mask off, man. It's just, once you see it, it's just, and I don't know how I missed it for so long, but that orange on top of that, those pink ears and those eyes, man, I'm just another reason that makes me think, what the f were we thinking, man?
Yeah, it's creeped me out. They remind me of like a reverse jaundice situation. Yeah. Motherfuckers turn yellow and orange and shit like that. But like his eyes are the only real pigment on his body, and I'm terrified of what he would actually look like. Because it probably resembles the Crypt Keeper at this point.
Yeah, it's probably all kind of like. I think that if you took that orange off, man, he'd look like a raw turkey under there. He bragged about it. Now, regardless of what you think about these candidates, I'm looking at Clinton right here. Hillary Clinton, and this is during the debates with her and Donald Trump. He pretty much admitted it right there that I don't pay taxes. He just said, hey, you know what? Don't blame me because I'm smart.
he didn't pay any federal income tax. So
that makes
if
me
he's
smart.
paid zero.
Pete, there you go. Between him looking like I want to kill this bitch, and smug, and being smug, he really is giving her these death looks. Between smirking about him not paying taxes, he put it out there, and yet we still elected him. And of course, it's the proof is right there. You just heard him, and of course he denied it.
You admitted that you hadn't paid federal taxes and that was smart. Is that what you meant to say?
No, I didn't say that at all. I mean, if they...
Bitch, we just got a bit right next door to you, right there. Got your words right there. For a mother that uses Twitter all day long, you act like you don't know how the internet works. Which I don't know, maybe you don't, or you just don't give a shit.
He forgot the lie he told an hour ago.
Yeah.
Like that, when they asked him about it, it was after the debate. It was
I
like
didn't even
less
know
than
that.
an hour later, and he's like, I never said that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Damn.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I thought he at least gave it 24 hours. He didn't care. I didn't know that was like an hour later. Wow.
Dude, it's just really frustrating, obviously, for a couple of reasons. I'll be the first one to say this. They said bombshell, and I laughed at that because I'm like, well, maybe because we got it. But was there a headline that you were like least surprised by about Donald Trump than this one? Like, this isn't telling us anything that we don't necessarily know already, or we didn't, have our suspicions about. Now it's just like a confirmation, and what it shows, for people who are kind of interested in going into the weeds of it, is that he got a lot of money from his daddy. And then he wasted a lot of that money. And then he lucked out because of The Apprentice and got like $427 million off The Apprentice licensing and stuff like that. And now more or less has squandered all of that money again. He's currently being audited, and he owes in the next 4 years $300 million to the IRS. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this pans out, unless he's president, in which he will do whatever to be like, well, I'm the president. I forgive all my loans. And It's just I don't understand how like this wasn't a bigger issue from the very beginning. People would say, what does tax returns have to do with his presidency? And I would just say transparency. Like we expect transparency from all our candidates. Obama paid over $1 million in taxes and never refused to do it. And if any Democratic person, I hate to say what about, but like what about if any other Democratic person did this, there would be mutiny within our own party, let alone from the Republicans.
Think about it. It's always a what about, a what if in this, because everybody doesn't care, man. That's the thing about it. And we know how this would react. What if Michelle Obama had posed nude and did lesbian acts on camera and put it out there? She would be the biggest whore black slut you would ever see. What if Obama had even like just nodded at Putin? They'd call his ass a communist. He's not born here. They've been trying to take his, they've been questioning, still, these birthers out here questioning his birth certificate. What if he had turned a blind eye to soldiers being killed in Afghanistan? The American soldiers that were targeted. What if he had done any of this shit? Nobody would, they'd be on his ass, and this had come out, oh my God. For people who can, again, I'm not a big fan of Hillary, but you motherfuckers got mad over an email or emails with her. And now you turn a blind eye to this motherfucker not only being unpatriotic, not only being anti-American, not only being anti-religious with a lot of ways, but also, now you got him here where he's not paying money to his own country. He's sitting up here scamming his own country. Really, y'all? Really? But see, that's what we've come to now. It's a bigger issue here because, to be fair, Amazon doesn't pay taxes, man. Amazon, if you look at Amazon has not paid, and they're a multi-billion-dollar company. The owner is Jeff Bezos, about to be a trillionaire. They have not paid taxes. So there's a bigger issue here of the income, the economic and wealth gaps between people, how people get poor. And people, do you realize that this country is supported off the backs of people who could hardly afford to sometimes live beyond check to check? But these rich out here, they don't pay taxes at all.
Oh, no, what it is socialism. They don't want to call it that, but it's corporate socialism. They want corporations to not have to do anything or pay their fair share to the benefit of only the top percent, not the people who are living paycheck to paycheck, like you said, which is like, that's the big profound problem about this. And again, I'm sorry, I'm not telling people how to vote, but like when we make they're both as bad argument, which is a tired and lazy one to make, like think about like at least Biden is trying to tax people at a decent rate. Like we are trying to go after these people because it isn't a Trump issue. It is a systemic like economic issue that we have where like, of course, Amazon should be paying their fair share. Every major corporation should be paying their fair share for the betterment of the lower and middle classes. This isn't, I know that sounds socialistic. It just sounds like, I don't know, common decency to your fellow man. Yeah. And it's upsetting that like we have now let this permeate all the way to the top.
This goes back to, when you bring up the damage that this president has done. Yeah, people, it's a bigger issue with this, this income inequality, this wealth gap. But I think people sadly expect that from corporations. This is our president that's doing this. This is our president that has scammed the country, man. And this is where we are. This is where people will, talking about how they're going to turn a blind eye to everything. They're going to do this too, man. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You're right. What difference is going to make at this moment? Because at this moment, I know some people said, don't use cult members. That's demeaning or doesn't really get to the root of the problem. No, they're fucking cult members, man. Once you see it right there in front of you and you make any excuse to deny it, when you deny reality, you are a cult member. You can't reason with people, man. That is where we really have hit this frustrating point, this scary, frustrating point. This story about him and his tax reports, this should be an eye-opener for anybody, no matter what side you're on, just from a place of decency. If you are somebody who's running around waving a flag talking about America, 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 God bless America and God and America, then you should be able to look at this and say, well, okay, as much as I want to stand behind this guy, this is not only un-American, but it's a lie that is harming the American people, the system. And people don't want to do that now. People just they've already dug their heels in. They've already said, this is what I stand for. And as cult-minded people, they're going to find any kind of way to justify this. If nothing else, they can go in and say, just like with everything else, it's a hoax. It's a conspiracy. You don't know all the strings that were being pulled behind the scenes to bring this man down. It's gone beyond frustrating. It is frightening at this point.
Yeah, well, I would say Russia totally won, right? Like, I just want to throw that out there. What they wanted to do was make us tribalistic and not even be able to look at the other political opponent without thinking that they're less than human. Russia won. Russia won. Republicans look at Democrats like they're pieces of shit, vice versa. So we're the most divided we've ever been. But I think, like, let's take politics out of this. What's the cold objective truth about these tax returns? It's that this guy who has purported himself as a successful businessman plays a successful businessman on TV. He sure as shit isn't one in his actual life. He squandered money both times. He's about to be in massive, massive, massive debt now. And it's like the idea that he has conned people into thinking he is the economy president is complete bullshit. He knew that if that were to get out before the election, he wouldn't be able to con his way as the economy president. It's just not true.
Yeah. This is this is something where, like again, people are talking, and and there are certain things and details in there which will explain why this is something that is considered to be a con to the country. Because people are already putting their opinions out there. Shock of shocks. Donald Trump, the self-proclaimed billionaire, received a $72.9 million tax refund from the IRS while not paying a nickel in federal income taxes in 10 out of 15 years. Yep, Trump loves corporate socialism for himself, rugged capitalism for everyone else. That's from Bernie Sanders. Of course, people be like, well, it's from Bernie. Bernie, you're a socialist. So whatever. Nobody's going to listen to what's right there. They're always going to try to find some outside source to blame this. The reason why this is such a con for the country is because he has businesses in place. Now, he has some businesses that are pulling a profit. He has Trump Tower. Trump Tower is still pulling in a shitload of money. I think he also has 2 buildings, one in New York and one in San Francisco. Those side businesses are pulling in some money. But he has failed at so many things. The infamous Trump Steaks, his failed, I guess, football team, or whatever he was trying to, some sports team he's trying to do. But The Apprentice is a failure that it's something that's still kind of bringing him money from a branded image angle, but that's starting to kind of fall off. Where the real scam comes in is that he has businesses that are failing, and he kind of keeps them around to fail because he uses these businesses as a way to write off his taxes because they're failures.
Yeah, not to steal from Bill Maher, but the thing he did get right was that power begets power. The people who used all these excuses as to not confirm a Supreme Court judge in 2016, they don't care about that. They don't care that they're hypocrites because all they care about is the power.
Yeah.
And they can affect real horrific change, and that's kind of where we're at now. And so when we talk about a 6-3 court, like, I just want to say this, by the way, like, as a liberal, I'd be horrified for a 6-3 liberal court. Like, I don't think the Supreme Court, the highest court, should be that slanted and that biased for either party. I think that it's very imperative that they keep some neutrality, or at least the, objective observation of neutrality. But when you have 6-3, and you're right, he can call the election, and if it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, who are they going to vote for? 3 of them have been put in by him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it gets scary, man. That's the only thing I would implore to anybody. If the shoe was on the other foot and Democrats are about to get a 6-3 thing and they were not playing by the same rules, I would be staunchly shitty and critical as I'm being of Trump.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with the survival of the Constitution as we know it.
Yep. Yep. Which is struggling right now. It's fighting hard to stay relevant and true. He's already doing what he does. He's got his strategy already out there. He's already talking about fake news. He's already talking about the IRS. Even when he got approached about saying that I don't pay taxes because that makes me smart, even in that interview, right after, he dodged the question by talking about how the IRS is not doing their job right.
I didn't. I mean, it doesn't matter. I will say this. I hate the way our government spends our taxes. They are wasting our money. So I do hate the way our government spends our
that's always the tactic right there. Shift the blame on something else. And it's worked for him so far, I guess. But while it's worked for him, it's really bringing this country down, man. I'm not one of these alarmist people. I'm not one to go, for the most dire outcome. I still believe that people want to do the right thing, but this man is allowed to, and we see that he's a con man. If he's conning his way with his taxes, he's going to con his way with politics. He's going to con his way to get what he wants, which is to go against certain parts of the Constitution. He doesn't mind going against that. He'll do whatever he wants to get what he wants. And it's just, it's sad that a lot of people will lie to themselves when he's lying to them. And if we don't wake up, people, I don't give a what your political affiliation is. You got to look past that and just admit a crook is a crook. A horrible human being is a horrible human being. And if you don't want to admit that, then you made your choice. And you so-called Americans out there who love this country so much, digging your heels down on some irrelevant thing. Oh, I don't like people who don't look like me. These gays over here, I don't like them. These women always complaining. These Negroes out here complaining. If you don't stick your heels down on that and ignore how there's a man you from behind, then all right, whatever. You've made your choice. This country has made its choice.
Yeah, you can't say you're real Americans and then consistently lead to its demise. That's the long and short of it. So, I know people are tired of hearing us complain about this shit and like woke liberal bullshit. I get it. I'm annoyed too. There's nothing I want more than after like November to just deplug and never ever deal with politics again. But that's only going to happen if we can get back to a semblance of normalcy, which I don't think. I was saying this the other day, like right now it sucks, like as is, right? Because Trump has the power of the presidency. He's got the entire government. He can kind of sway that in his favor for the election. And right now we have to throw a no-hitter, which is notoriously hard. That's why you don't talk about it when a pitcher has a no-hitter. What's harder than a no-hitter is a perfect game. And if the Supreme Court goes 6-3, and if we don't elect this out of office, like we have to pitch a perfect game just to have normalcy, which is riots in major metropolitan cities, which is no police reform, which is none of that shit. So, I'm sorry, this is a passionate plea. Please, let's get our shit together.